Ta-da!
Ta-da!
We've all appeared. All these faces have just appeared. Again, I still need to get an opening for the show because it's just title card and then
ta-da!
Hey, look, a bunch of people. Welcome to another Friday night and another Unproduced Live, the weekly live script reading show where we read actual unproduced scripts from Hollywood's biggest franchises. And tonight, this is going to be our final full script that we'll be doing part 1 today, July 10th, part 2, July 17th, and then something very special on July 24th, but I'm not telling you about that yet. So tonight we are doing Roger Rabbit 2, Toon Platoon, written in 1989 by Nat Mauldin, I believe, and Jeff Stein. So this was written just about in, I would say, like a year after, what was it, Roger Rabbit was released.
Yeah, it was about that, 89.
88,
yeah.
88, yeah.
And it was rumored, I mean, from my research on the internet, I found that Steven Spielberg passed on this one because it had Nazis in it. And Spielberg's like, I'm done. I'm done with the
Nazis.
He's like, I don't want to put them in as villains anymore.
List at the time.
Yeah, he's like, I think I'm done with having them be the villains in these.
The bad guys.
Things. Yeah, and that's probably why I got Soviets and Crystal Skull. And so then, so we're gonna put Mr. Spielberg's opinions aside tonight, and we're gonna show you Roger Rabbit in a prequel that shows how he became the rabbit that we all know and love, and also fought in World War II. Sure.
World War II is always fun.
Especially with cartoons. So we have a very big show tonight and a lot of big guests to bring this show to life. So let's go ahead and introduce everyone here, starting with the man playing Roger Rabbit in a last-minute audible switch. We swapped roles from Eric over to Mr. Bill Farmer here because, you know, Eric's only allowed to play one type of bunny in his contract. So it's just it's just the way it is. It's cool. But
sorry, folks.
We actually have Bill Farmer. You know him as the voice of Goofy since 1987. Long time. And actually, your very first movie that you worked on was Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, when I came to Hollywood, the first movie that I worked on, first animated movie ever, was Roger Rabbit as the Lope Group. So I got to do Smile, Darn Ya, Smile, you know, and all of that kind of stuff, and little incidental characters in Toontown. And it was a big deal at the time and a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so I know Tony Pope was the voice, that the one line that they had in there, but
yes.
You did sneak your Goofy in there because you were doing Goofy at the time.
I did. We did that song, Smile, Darn Ya, at the end. And by that time, I was doing the voice where Tony had done it from even before I moved to Hollywood, and they finished out the movie with him. And I said, well, I'm going to get Goofy in here. So I sang one round where they stacked it. They did like 3 or 4 of us singing it, and then they stack it so it sounds like a lot of people. And I did one run as Goofy. So I snuck him in there.
Hey,
no one knows that.
So there you go. So it's okay if I said that he technically was Goofy in this one as part of it. So
yes.
We got that. Uncredited Goofy in there. But I'm just so excited that you were in the original and are here for this sequel read. So thank you for joining us there.
That's because I'm very old.
Okay, all right. Well, then we've got the human lead in this one. There's no Eddie Valiant. We've got Ritchie Davenport, an aspiring actor, who will be played by Eric Bauza, who I am meeting.
Also, just an aspiring actor like everybody
Yes,
else.
we're all. But you know him as the voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Marvin the Martian, all the Looney Tunes, almost all the Looney Tunes currently. Your IMDb is very extensive, and I was also
I say it's Frank Welker and the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yes, you can't touch that one, man.
Praise Frank.
Frank.
Oh,
what
Frank.
a guy.
We love that guy. But you also, in addition to doing all the voices that you do, you have a clothing line as well, right? Retro Kid?
Oh, yeah. Kid. That old thing, that fun hobby that we have on the side, a friend of mine from high school and I decided, well, why don't we try to get licenses for intellectual properties and put them on shirts? Of course, I'm not wearing anything.
Right.
This is like the first time ever
Very
in
subtle.
history that I'm not, but I am wearing a Good Feathers baseball.
There you go.
That's
I
awesome.
like that.
Yeah, that's a
Good
good
Feathers. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's excellent.
I like that.
That is really cool. But you just launched an Inspector Gadget line like a day ago or 2 days ago.
Yeah, in case you miss seeing Inspector Gadget on T-shirts, which is hardly ever. I basically just screen grabbed a bunch of my favorite scenes from the intro, and I had help with the digital artist Art Fuentes. We went through and we picked some choice scenes from the intro, and because they didn't have them in the production library. They had some amazing fun frame grabs from other episodes. But I was like, I want that gadget coat. I want that Penny and Brain on the watch, and I want Dr. Claw with the fake arm.
By the chair.
Yeah, so we just picked a bunch of fun scenes from the intro, and if it's from what I've been hearing from my business partner, he's saying we're selling out of sizes real quick. So
that's great. We
might be doing a second line. And who knows what other licenses were Beetlejuice trying to get in the...
Come on! The animated
Beetlejuice?
That's
great.
That would be amazing.
I'm basically announcing my retirement from voiceover. I'm just going straight into... This
T-shirt
will be my
mogul.
last read of anything tonight. So...
Well, I appreciate you retiring with this YouTube show. So I appreciate
this
that.
This is it for me.
It's a way to go out. As the well-known character Ritchie Davenport. But if you anyone out there that is interested, that's retrokid.ca, I believe, and then I also put a link in the description, so you can go to the description and
thanks,
grab some
You're so kind,
Yeah, all right, sneaking over the border, Canadian man stealing our jobs.
Those Canadians, oops, I did it. Sorry.
Oh,
Just
don't.
looked into it. You said no, but these friendly Canadians crossing the border, stealing all our jobs.
All right. Moving on.
I broke the rule.
You did.
Was there a rule? Is there a Trump rule?
Yeah,
Yes, there's a Trump rule.
No Trump?
Is that Rule 45?
Chat room.
And I couldn't help it. I love eating the cat. When I heard Eric was on...
I have no idea.
No.
Absolutely.
It's like a zombie bite. It's like...
It's almost as contagious as COVID.
No one wants to hear it.
It's like herding orange cats.
Achoo! Oh, now you all
has
have
already
cold,
lost
sir.
control of this entire thing.
All right, we're never going to get to the script if we keep this up. Let's move on to...
Is it 6 a.m. or 6 p.m.? I can't see my clock.
Following up, we have Jessica Crumpnick, the future Mrs. Rabbit, is played by Anna Brisbane, a.k.a. Brizzy Voices, an incredibly talented impressionist, YouTube celebrity. Her channel has over 2 million subscribers, so people like what she does, and rightfully so, because she does it good. And I messed up my voice there for a second.
You're already starting to voices early.
I've already started the voices earlier. But yeah, no, you were also just in the Final Fantasy VII remake, I believe.
Yeah, just a little bit, but yeah. Thank you.
Very excited. I learned about Anna through a friend, James A. Janice, and she's also on an episode of What's Your Favorite Scary Movie that I edited for that channel, where she talks about The Ring and how that terrified her. And she just watched Roger Rabbit for the first time today. Oh, and look at that. She's got the look down.
Oh, there's The Ring. Jeez.
Yeah, she had never seen it before, but watched it today, so now she's all set.
Yes, I have the most fresh memory of the movie probably of anyone here, so I'm an expert.
Oh, it's always playing in the back of my head every minute of every day. So then we've got Jessica's human roommate, Wendy Rowan, played by Jan Johns.
Hey.
Yahoo!
All the way out from the East Coast there, so it's going to be a late night for her, but we're very glad to have her. I met her at a farmer's market and was immediately enchanted by how silly and delightful she was. And you probably have heard her in the Fallout video games and what is it, Loud House, and also she was you're currently the voice of the female Predator in Predator Hunting Grounds, which is amazing
I
to me.
remember that audition. That's so funny. That's awesome.
That was the most fun day ever. That was.
Can you do that? The sound right now? Are you loud?
You can't tell.
Okay,
They put two microphones together, but then they have me do like some stuff.
Yes.
There.
I am pleased.
So if you
I am pleased.
if you pick up Predator Hunting Grounds, then you will hear her as the female Predator. in there. So very excited for that.
Awesome.
And then rounding out, we've got some returning favorites here. We've got Mr. Brock Powell and Ted Evans are going to be splitting roles because Brock actually has to, unfortunately, leave for a super secret movie premiere thing that he's filming or something.
Through Zoom.
Through Zoom. The power of Zoom.
That's very cool.
But they'll be playing Otto Green, Jessica Rabbit's boss at the radio station she works at, as well as a bunch of other characters and things of that nature. But you've known them, you've seen them in previous things before. Otherwise, you know, Kool-Aid Man, Affleck Duck, Incredibles 2, so many wonderful things. Just look up their Instagrams and follow them. They're great people. So we've got a lot of talented folks here tonight, and I'm very excited for this read. And so we've got Megan Gorman here, who is with us always. She is center square, just like Paul Lynn. I don't know what age my audience is. I'm doing Hollywood Squares jokes.
Hollywood Squares?
Yeah. I'm the secret square.
I remember it.
You go to Paul Lincoln, not Bruce Valanche is the center square. That's interesting.
This is all for Bill.
Shadow Stevens. That's
I
my
know
favorite
all these
name.
references.
Yeah.
Mercy. Charlotte.
But Megan is there to moderate the chat, and we are taking suggestions of voices and characters from you, the audience. So you can give us celebrities, characters that you want to hear these people say. Also, just types of characters, like a porpoise that's evolving into a man that enjoys Chinese food, but only on the weekends. Okay. That's a weird one, and I should not be allowed to improvise.
That was my last Google search.
Amazing. So be very nice to Megan and give her your suggestions. We also have a fun thing for next week. Based on suggestions and joining us in the chat and everything, we're going to have an original sketch, I believe, that we can offer up to people for our next show. Brock, if you want to say a little bit about that.
So illustrator and the voice of Mickey Mouse, Brett Iwan, has done an original sketch as a giveaway just for this. If you guys are interested, we're going to arbitrarily decide how to give that away, but you must tune in next week for those arbitrary rules. And a chance to win an original Mickey Mouse sketch by illustrator Brett Iwan and the voice of Mickey Mouse.
Yes, and follow on Instagram for more details at Lowcarbcomedy, and we'll be coming this week as we do that. But that's a really cool thing that we've got coming up next time. So if you're here for the first one, make sure you tune in for the second one. We've got fun stuff going. So, that's a lot of talking. We're doing great. I think it is time for us to begin this wonderful thing. But as always, if you'd like to follow along, there is a link in the description to the script, which I will say I hand typed myself because the original script was scanned and you couldn't highlight things and whatever. So I had to retype the whole thing. So there's spelling errors. Don't blame that on Nate or Jeff, the actual writers. That was me. So if there's spelling errors in there, I did my very best, but I typed in a script myself. So that was a thing, so that everyone is easily highlighted and everyone has a great script in front of them. So thank you all. Download that, follow along. Otherwise, it gets real silly and you don't know what's happening, but you're gonna laugh a lot. So let's get things started. So beginning, Roger Rabbit 2, written May 22nd, 1989. Exterior, Randall Farm Day. A long driveway leads to a 2-story farmhouse in the distance. A combine is chugging along, hitched to the rear of a tractor. Superimpose the title, Kansas, 1941. Wilbur Fitch, 50th, a cheerful sort, rolls down his windows and calls to Michael and Ryan Randall, corn-fed country youths in their mid-teens. Now, Wilbur, you are going to be voiced as, I have it written here. There it is. Hop Pop from Amphibia.
Okay.
From your show Amphibia. And Michael, you're going to be PJ from Goof Troop. And Ryan, that's Ted, you're going to be Stewie Griffin. So let's hear this first scene.
Morning. This is a Randall place, ain't it?
Yes, sure. Sure. My pop is in the house over there.
Got you working bright and early, does he?
We don't mind, sir.
Man's rising some fine boys.
Supposed to be raisin, but I've already screwed up
Raisin,
the typo.
Rising. That's a spelling typo.
Oh.
It's rising.
I'm very excited this will add extra layers of comedy to the entire script. So we now go to the interior kitchen. Dora Randall takes a freshly baked cake out of the oven and sets it on a window ledge to cool. Dora's husband, Earl Randall, leans next to the stove, lighting his pipe. Both are in their late 40s. Dora, you are Wanda from Fairly Odd Parents. And Earl, let's continue the theme, and you'll be Pete. You were PJ, and now you're Pete.
Cool. Now me?
Yeah.
Great. I've never read before. This is great.
Well, now, Ma, you knew this day was going to come, dear, and now it has come. In fact, it's a Monday.
Oh, it can wait a while longer. Now help me with the frosting.
She starts mixing some frosting in a large bowl. We see a small boy's hand slowly reach inside the windowsill.
Now, Dora, we agreed with the boy turned 18 to be on his own, dear. It could be Daddy's favorite tax write-off. And that's when we tell him there's just no sense putting it off.
There's no sense getting him all upset either. Timmy!
Oh, she smacks the hand away from the cake.
You keep your sticky fingers off that young man. You'll be lucky if you get a piece tonight.
Timothy Randall, aged 8, enters, tending to his smarting wrist, and he sounds like Gizmo from Gremlins.
Oh, shoot! I don't want to wait until tonight. I'm so tired of waiting.
Well, maybe when it's your birthday, you won't have to. But this isn't your cake, it's your brother's. Where is he anyways?
I don't know. He said something about going out to the barn to milk the mule.
Earl and Dora give each other an apprehensive look. Exterior Randall Farm day. Fitch's truck is parked by the barn. Suddenly we hear a panicked mule braying at full blast. Fitch turns just as Roger Rabbit comes crashing through the side of the barn, wearing blue denim overalls, hurtling through the air like a cannonball. Fitch watches him headed straight for the field, where the combine is making its final pass. Roger lands head first directly behind the tractor's hitch, in the midst of some stalks of corn. He pulls his head out of the ground with a pop, shakes it, then his eyes bug out of their sockets as he sees the combine blades coming right at him. Roger tries to run, but gets caught up in the machine and proceeds to get threshed, folded, spindled, and mutilated as Fitch takes this all in, his face twisted in horror.
Wait, Mother of Jesus.
Fitch grabs a first aid kit from his truck. Michael shakes his head, shuts off the combine as Roger pokes his head up from the bowels of the machine with his normal Roger voice.
Yes, sir. That'll get you started in the morning.
Roger disengages himself from the machine as Earl and Dora step out to the porch.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
You okay there, son? You look like my first wife, Peg.
Nothing to fret about, Peter. I'm still in one piece, aren't I?
With this, Roger starts to fall, slice by slice, as if he was a loaf of bread, onto the ground.
Oh, that boy.
Exterior Randall farmhouse. The lights are on downstairs, and we hear the Randalls singing a song.
Happy birthday. Are we the Randalls?
You're all the Randalls. Basically, anyone that's a child and anything.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, singing over Zoom is always so amazing.
So bad.
All right, interior Randall dining room night. Earl, Dora, and their boys are sitting at the table. Roger, his face is illuminated by 18 candles sticking out of a birthday cake.
Happy birthday to you, Roger. Happy birthday to you. Oh, joy! Carrot cake! I love carrot cake. I love a carrot anything.
Well, go on. Make a wish and blow them out.
No, Ryan. We don't do that anymore.
Oh, come on, Roger, let her rip.
Timmy, no.
Here goes nothing.
Roger takes a huge breath, swelling to the size of a weather balloon. His family dives under the table just as Roger blows on the cake with an exhalation of such hurricane force that everything on the table is sent flying towards the other side of the room. Exterior Randall farmhouse as the dining room window shatters and the cake flies across the Kansas farmland, and it continues its journey sailing through the sky towards an elderly couple sitting on rockers taking in some night air as the cake sails past them, splattering on their front door. They react calmly, turn to each other, and the elderly man is Sir Ian McKellen.
Our little boy must be having another birthday.
Interior Randall living room night. Earl and Dora are standing next to the sofa as Roger enters. We've got some new voices here. This is going to be a real weird scene, but I would like Roger for this scene to be Goofy, and
Okay.
I would like Earl to be Mickey, and Dora to be Minnie. So Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy are having a weird conversation.
Mater! Pater! You wanted to see me?
Gosh, sit down, Roger. We need to have us a little talk.
Roger does.
Hot dog, son. Have you ever noticed that you're might be a little different from the other kids at school? First of all, you got big buck teeth and you're not a mouse.
No.
Well, remember that time you and Butch Cooper were playing at the rock quarry and all that dynamite went off in your face? Butchie went to the hospital, but nothing happened to you.
Sure, because I take my vitamins, just like you tell me to.
Honey, you know we've always loved you like you are our very own, but, well, you're not.
We're not your real mom and dad. We found you right outside there in a little Easter basket. My old dog Pluto sniffed you out nearly 18 years ago.
There was this real nice note stapled to your ear saying how your mother loved you, but times were tough and she's figured we could give you a better life than she could.
But how could she desert me like that? It's inhuman.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, son. Gosh.
Exterior Randall farmhouse night. There's a beat. Then we hear Roger's voice.
A Toon!
Interior front hall. Roger dashes around the first floor in a state of panic.
A Toon? Me? That's impossible.
Roger, calm down. Don't lose your head, blow your fuse, flip your lid.
Now, count to 10, ease up, take a promo, call Toodles.
Count to 10? Oh, it can't be. Wrong line. It can't be. It's a cruel hoax, a hoodwink, a snow job.
Now, son, listen to us.
I don't believe it. I can't believe it. I shan't believe it. What's a Toon?
It's nothing bad, dear. It just means you're not quite the same species as most folks.
Whoa, now I know why old guys stare at me in the shower.
We figured this would be quite a jolt. Roger, you'll get by. You'll get by in time. Though we know you will.
But this is terrible. A tragedy of epic proportions. Who am I? What am I?
Earl grabs him by his ears, pulls him up to his face.
You, oldest boy. That's what you are. Never mattered to me one lick where you came from. You're my son, hot dog.
Roger looks at both his parents, smiles, then slowly crosses over to the window, looking out into the night.
I gotta find her, Pa.
Gosh, they know.
I guess you'd better have this then.
She takes out a large gift wrap box, brings it over to Roger.
Happy birthday, son.
For me?
Roger opens the box to reveal a pair of red overalls along with a polka dot bow tie.
Oh, Mater, my favorite color. And I didn't even know I had a favorite color.
It was gonna be your Sunday suit, but if you're going out in the world, you should look your best, don't you think?
Roger looks at her a moment, a tear welling in his eye, and hops into her arms. He looks at both his parents, sniffling.
Oh, yeah. remember when I was a baby? How could you always, you could always get me to stop crying?
Dora smiles, then whacks him on the head. He sees stars circling. Earl grabs one of them and tickles Roger, and he bursts into uncontrollable laughter.
No, stop. You're killing me. I'm dying. Please.
And that concludes that interesting scene. Well done, everybody. That was amazing. Exterior Randall driveway day. Roger walks down the driveway waving to Earl, Dora, and the kids. A handkerchief with all his belongings is tied to a stick that rests on his shoulder. And for this, let's go to the audience and get something for Roger and Earl. Roger's foster dad.
All right. Roger is going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger as an 8-year-old.
Okay.
Okay.
Terminator babies.
And for the father, can we do John F. Kennedy running from a horror movie killer?
Yeah, you got it.
And begin.
And I write every Tuesday, and I call every Friday, and I write and call every Sunday, just like you said.
Now, remember, son, you keep keep a good head on your shoulders, and you'll be fine, just like my brother Bobby.
Was to write every Friday and write and call every Monday. Maybe it was call every Tuesday, but don't write or call on every Saturday.
Roger's family gives him one last wave, heads into the house, and the exterior Kansas Road day, we get a drive-by shot as a 1934 Ford Coupe, somewhat worn and grimy, makes its way past the farm and cornfield. Interior, the Ford, Ritchie Davenport, 24, good-looking, performing a Shakespearean monologue for no one in particular as he drives. You may begin.
For in that sleep of death, what dreams may come, when we have shuffled off that mortal coil, must give us pause. There's the respect that makes what?
Ritchie looks down and checks the text on the seat beside him.
Calamity.
Exterior road day. Roger at the end of his driveway still waves, calls out to his now absent family in his normal Roger voice.
And don't worry, some nice person is bound to give me a...
Wham! Roger is creamed by the Ford. Ritchie quickly looks up from his book and reacts to Roger Rabbit plastered across the windshield. Ritchie screams in horror and slams on the brakes.
Ah!
The Ford fishtails to a stop and Roger bounces off the hood and disappears. Ritchie just sits there for a few beats, taking deep breaths. Then Roger's head pops into frame. Ritchie jumps out of his skin, screams again.
Going my way.
Roger's back to normal for this one, but I also like that Arnold popped in there for a second.
Going my way.
Amazing. Interior Ford day. Ritchie is behind the wheel. Roger sits in the passenger seat.
I figured you for a dead duck back there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm getting caught the Schwarzenegger flu.
Oh, you'll get it eventually.
I figured you for a dead duck back there. I didn't think there were any tunes around these parts.
Me neither. By the way, I'm Roger.
Richard Davenport.
Nice to meet you, Ritchie. See, I was left here by my mother. You haven't seen her, have you?
Sorry.
I have a picture of her. She left it in my Easter basket because she loved me, even though she forsake me.
Oh. Roger takes out a time-worn photo of a group of about 60 rabbits. Standing beside them, we see the bottom half of an adult Toon rabbit wearing a polka dot dress.
That's my mother. She's beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah, I guess.
Roger looks at the floor of the car, sees an 8x10 headshot of Ritchie. There's a stack of another 300 photos, all exactly the same. Roger rapidly flips through them and reacts.
Ooh, wow! Your mother must really love you.
I'm an actor. At least I'm going to be. Just give me a week in Hollywood.
Oh, is that where we're going?
We? Hang on a minute, buddy. I'll take you as far as the next town, okay? No offense, but
Hey, here's another one.
At the bottom of the stack, Roger discovers one last photograph of Ritchie wearing a flight suit and goggles over his head, standing next to a P-47 fighter plane.
Oh, you're a fly boy.
Hey! What am I? Or what is not is none of your business. Your goddamn business, that is. You got that? Like I need a goddamn force flight school with their chicken shoot rules and their hotshot instructors on your ass every second. Throttle up, throttle down, climb. Oh boy, off we go into the wild blue yonder. Who needs that?
Yeah, right.
Roger slides gingerly to the far end of the seat to avoid that many typos in one speech, giving Ritchie an uncertain little smile.
I mean, I can't believe they wrote shit in the script. Wow. Was shit ever said in the first Roger Rabbit? I don't know.
I don't think so.
What I mean is, flying was great. I just couldn't take all the BS, so I quit.
Ritchie continues to drive. A little later, we're close on a now relaxed Roger, obliviously humming Off We Go Into the Wild Blue Yonder to himself. Slowly, we pan over to Ritchie, who gives Roger a look, but restrains himself. Exterior side of the road, further down the highway, the Ford pulls off the pavement and stops on a stretch of dirt. And we've got Ritchie and Roger for this scene. How about the audience? Give us a couple voices for them.
All right, can we get the Mad Hatter and Scar?
Who wants what?
I'm a good Mad Hatter. Okay, I'll do that kind of.
All right.
Well, good luck, pal.
But you said we were going to take it to the next town.
I did.
He points at a ramshackle little roadside gas station with a couple of dilapidated shacks on either side. An old man sits on a rocker in front of the station, whittling on a stick. A beat-up sign reads Voidville, Kansas, population 6.
See you around.
But Ritchie, my mother was going west when she left me. That's where we're going. And
hey, nothing personal. I just make better time alone. You'll get a ride real fast.
But please, I'll be good. I won't say a word. I'll be as quiet as a mouse, silent as a movie, mute as a...
Look. Maybe I'm not in the mood to drive 2,000 miles with a talking ink blot.
Roger's a bit stunned and genuinely hurt.
Oh, yeah. I guess I forgot. See ya.
Oh, Roger gets out of the car and starts walking somewhat Chaplin-esque down the highway. Ritchie watches this, sighs, and puts the car back into gear. Exterior side of the road day. The Ford pulls alongside Roger and Ritchie, and he rolls down the passenger window. And let's get some new voices for them for this scene. Yeah, that's right. The
Sorry,
power,
I have
Megan.
to unmute myself. Okay. Okay, everyone's gonna be a little drunk this next one. Can we get Alex Trebek just a wee bit tipsy? Was the exact phrasing.
Great.
And a drunk Captain Kirk.
Okay.
Take your pick, Bill.
I'll be Captain Kirk here.
Okay.
Okay, I'll be drunk Will Ferrell, Alex Trebek.
Talking to you. Good. You may begin.
Hey, I'm a little wound up. That's all. I've been on the road and not drinking, despite my slur, 3 days straight.
That's okay. Thanks for the reminding me of my subhumanity.
All right. I might as well take you to the next town.
That won't be necessary.
Ritchie stops on a small incline, pulls the emergency brake, and gets out.
Look, I said I was sorry, so just get back in the goddamn car.
But you didn't say please.
Please?
Roger dashes back to the Ford and hops into the driver's seat like a little kid.
So, can I drive? Can I? Can I?
No, just move over and look out the window and shut up.
Yes, sir. Right away. Your wish is my command.
Interior Ford, exterior road. As Roger slides over, he bumps into the emergency brake lever. The car starts to roll backwards down the hill.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
Nothing. Just like you told me. Why are you getting farther away?
Just hit the brake.
Yes, sir. On the double. Incidentally. What is a brake?
Look, down there by your foot, the pedal on the right. Just hit it fast.
Oh, that's supposed to be Roger, but it says Ryan. I'm sorry.
My right or your right?
Just hit something and stop the goddamn car.
Roger glances out the rear window, realizes he's headed straight for the gas station. He turns back to Ritchie, and for this one line, because this was Arnold's catchphrase as Doc Ock in Spider-Man, the previous script we read. So you're gonna go to Arnold Schwarzenegger for this remaining section.
Okay. Okie dokie.
Oh, the gas station. The Ford slams into the two pumps, which triggers a gigantic explosion. The Ford is hurled 500 feet straight up into the air. The old man watches this, stops whittling nonchalantly, reaching behind him to turn the open sign, so it now reads close. Sorry for missing you. Ritchie just stands there, dazed, as it starts raining fender and auto parts, all 300 of his 8x10 glossies as well. Finally, Roger lands with a splat, holding the now charred, twisted brake pedal.
Found it.
Drunk Arnold?
Great.
Kind of. Why not? So
I can't believe this. I'm screwed. In the goddamn middle of nowhere.
don't worry, Brit. No, I'm doing the wrong voice. Don't worry, Ritchie. It'll be okay. We'll get to Hollywood somehow.
Ritchie looks at Roger, considers a beat, and we get to the exterior side of a road. It's deserted. We see a car approach, and just as it's ready to pass us, Roger is tossed up from a ditch onto the roadway. The car's tires screech, it moves out of frame, and we hear a thud. We then get an overhead of the map of Western USA as we watch a line etching its way across the west. Every 100 miles or so, the line stops. We hear a screech of tires and a thud, and the line resumes its movement, finally ending at Hollywood Boulevard, close on a street sign indicating Hollywood and Vine, widened to reveal pre-war Hollywood, bustling, noisy, and not quite yet so tawdry. A Dodge sedan pulls to the curb. Ritchie emerges, followed by a thoroughly senseless Roger. The car pulls away. Ritchie picks up his suitcase, and let's get some more voices for Ritchie and Roger, because they're nailing it. So
the chat room is all about it.
Yeah.
Can we get, let's try a Lotso Bear and Squidward.
All right, so Squidward from SpongeBob and Lots of Love Bear, which is Ned Beatty from Toy Story.
Right?
Do you want to do Lotso and I'll do Squidward?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Ha! Nice trip, huh?
Now, I'm trying to remember how that one went.
I
I'll
think
hit the Zorn button.
Oh, the Zorn button for that one. Oh, great.
I can remember that Toy Story. Yeah, I kind of remember.
I don't think I mentioned it, but the Zorn button, for those that are new, is if they don't know a voice or they just want to torture me, they make me do the impression and then do an impression of me.
It's about time.
It's very true. So now I have to figure out what Lotso sounded like. Welcome to Sunnyside. We're going to talk to you about all these wonderful things out there. Don't you worry about anything, but I might be evil. There you go.
All right.
That's good.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yes. I enjoyed it enormously.
Roger shakes his head, then has a look around. The sidewalk is jammed with people moving along at a hurried pace.
Wow. Now I know we're not in Kansas.
Yeah, anyway, take care of...
Suddenly, Roger sees a Toon, Wile E. Coyote, heading straight for him. He panics and jumps on Ritchie.
Yeah! What are you doing?
What is that horrible thing?
They both watch Wile E. glance at a shopping list in his hand, then turn into the entrance of the Acme Corporation World Headquarters.
Relax. That's another Toon, see? There's lots of them.
We now notice, peppered amongst the humans, a number of Toon types.
Hey, maybe I'll find my mother here.
It's so weird when it's him saying that. Ritchie realizes Roger is still embracing him and shoves him away.
So far, we've had a milk the mule, rising children, a typo, and then
Maybe I'll find my mother in there.
Yeah, Maybe now I know why they didn't make this. This is the scariest prequel I've ever.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, yeah, your mother. Will you just get off of me? Look, you gotta find your mom and get... And I got lots of stuff to do, so I guess this is so long. Good luck, okay?
Ritchie starts walking, leaving a deflated Roger alone on the sidewalk.
So long.
Right.
In fact, I think I'll start looking right this minute.
Great. Good idea.
And don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Happy as a clam, calm as a cucumber, safe as a bug in a rug.
Ritchie disappears in the crowd. Roger stands there, a little frightened and unsure what to do. Then he takes his family photograph out of his pocket and approaches a passerby.
Excuse me, I'm looking for my mother. Have you seen her? Hello? Have you seen my mother?
The passerby simply ignore him, and he continues to question other ones.
You haven't seen my... I guess you haven't.
He sighs, walks a few more steps. We hear voices on a radio coming through the open door of a barber shop. And the radio announcer right there. Who is that one? Is that Ted? That's Ted. Let's start you off. Just, you know what? Inspector Gadget related. Let's have Dr. Claw be the radio announcer for this first one.
Okay.
And now, Old Gold Cigarettes, the brand more throat specialists recommend, presents Mr. Keen, Tracer of Lost Persons.
Roger steps closer to listen.
Each week at this time, Mr. Keen utilizes the latest methods of science and psychology to locate the missing and bring loved ones together.
And now we go to the interior of the barber shop day. A barber is strapping his razor. A customer sits in the chair, his face covered in hot towels, as Roger runs in the door. So we've got Roger, a barber, and a customer. The barber is Miranda Sings. And the customer is... let's get a suggestion for the customer and Roger for this scene.
Customer is Pennywise trying to find toilet paper at the start of the pandemic.
Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, what was the other one we named?
Roger.
Yeah.
Roger is going to be the most stereotypical New Yorker.
Just the most. Okay.
Excuse me. That voice on the radio. Where's that coming from?
Oh, I don't know. Beat it, will you?
But my mother. He can find her.
The problem is, every time I try to do Pennywise, it's so close to Pooh Bear. But let me try one more time.
That's a connection.
That'd be a good one.
Hiya, Georgie. Mutual Broadcasting Studios, 2 blocks down. Oh, bother.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
1,000 times thank you.
Roger runs out the door as the customer yanks off the towels and starts spitting to his right, disgusted. Only after he sits up again do we realize that it's Eddie Valiant.
Dun, dun,
And you can do your best Eddie Valiant for this one line.
Those.
We slowly pan back to the radio, and the radio actor is now Robert Downey Jr.
Okay. But, oh, sorry. I believe that's me there.
He starts out as the radio actor. You'll be the radio actor later.
Yeah. Look, Ted, I can understand the confusion there. First of all, I just closed the McGee case. I was headed home for a good night's sleep. My door opened, and in walked the kind of woman you wouldn't mind staying awake for, Gwyneth Paltrow, with a couple of items from Goop.
Interior Mutual Radio Studios. We hear the sound effects of a door opening, then a familiar, sultry voice, and you may do whatever voice you'd like for Jessica there.
Mr. Keen, my name is Victoria Van Cortlandt. You've got to help me.
How am I doing so far?
I like a guy with a sense of humor.
We reveal the two actors standing in front of the microphone, a nondescript radio actor reading the voice of Mr. Keen and a humanoid tune, Jessica Crumpnick. It is the Jessica we know. Her voice is deep and quite seductive, but A drab outfit conceals her figure. She wears only a little makeup, her hair up in a bun, and she wears glasses as they read their scripts.
I made a mental note to learn some new jokes. Then I took her coat. I guess you could say she had a good figure if 38, 22, 36 is what figure is good.
It's my husband. He has disappeared. I can't believe he'd leave of his own accord.
As I was trying to figure out that one, not out myself, the door slowly opened.
Jessica now does the sound effect of a door creaking. It's a perfect simulation coming out of her mouth.
No surprise, I was too busy to notice the barrel of another kind of 38 pointed in our direction.
Jessica now reproduces the cocking and firing of a gun.
Very good. I pushed her down and ran out into the hall, tackling the guy just as he got to the water cooler.
And originally I had cut this bit, but now I want to hear it. Jessica now does glass shattering. The glug glug of a water pouring out of a bottle. And finally, a fist fight replete with punches and furniture breaking.
Padded furniture.
It's all padded, yeah. It was very nice furniture, but it's a tour de force, as we just saw there. So we hear the receptionist's muffled voice outside, and let's get some new voices here. We need Roger, radio actor. Roger and the radio actor. Let's go to the audience for that.
Okay, so for Roger, can we get some Gaston?
Gaston, all right.
Okay.
Our radio actor is someone who lost their contact lens.
Me every morning. It's me every morning.
Our receptionist is a sleepy werewolf.
Okay, sure. And then I'm going to do for Otto whatever voice that you're doing for Otto to start off with. The
Gotcha.
boss.
Okay.
So there you go.
Cool.
All right. Sleepy werewolf begins.
You can't go in there.
Roger bursts into the studio, followed by the receptionist. Roger runs up to the actor, not noticing Jessica.
Oh God! I pinned him in the corner studio.
Mr. Keene, can I have a moment of your time? A minute of your life? A scintilla of your schedule?
Okay, I'm so sorry. Who the hell is this schmuck?
Oh, he covers the mic.
Jesus! Oh!
Get out of here.
Mr. Keene can find my mother. The radio said so.
Otto Green, the station manager, enters, mid-50s, rotund, jolly-looking with a shock of red curly hair.
What is going on in here?
I'm sorry, Mr. Green.
Go to commercial! Go to commercial!
Jessica runs over to the corner, joining a trio of singers. She immediately does the sound effect of coffee percolating. I'll take it. Then the girls chime in singing the Maxwell House coffee jingle. During this, people are frantically running around the booth as the receptionist and security guard try to grab Roger.
Hello out there in Radio Land. I'm trying to find my mother. I've got a picture. See?
Roger is tackled and knocked out of frame by a phalanx of security people as the jingle continues. We now are at the exterior of the Mutual Radio Studios. Two beefy security guards eject him from the building, and he slams into a fire hydrant. And for this, Jessica, you are Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter. And you know what? I want to see... you're Yogi Bear, Roger Rabbit. You're Yogi Bear.
Okay.
Excuse me. I think you dropped this.
Roger slowly turns and looks behind him. His eyes widen and his heart starts to pound through his overalls. Roger's POV of Jessica. All Roger can see is her. Then she talks. Her voice is amplified.
This is yours, isn't it?
Hey, my picture. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll put it away as soon as my pocket stops palpitating.
Look, this is just a radio show. The only real person Mr. Keene finds every day is his bartender. Jessica Krupnik.
Roger, I don't know.
You'd better go on home before you get into any more trouble.
I don't have one. Maybe I can stay with you. I won't hog the covers, I promise.
Thanks. I'm afraid I already have a roommate. But I think my building has a little place for rent in back. Here's the address.
She takes out a pen, writes it on his ear.
Well, see ya.
Roger just gazes at her, stroking the ear that she wrote on.
Yeah.
That was a pairing that I always wanted. Yogi Bear and Moaning Myrtle. Exterior office building. Ritchie arrives at Benet & Stein Talent Agency. He has a quick look at himself in a plate glass window, then opens the door, just as another guy his age is being shoved out by a cigar-chomping agent type. And so we need a suggestion for Ritchie and Roger.
Okay, so let's get a Tigger.
Okay.
And a dog learning how to speak English for the first time.
Okay, so Ritchie, you'll be Tigger.
I'll do the... Oh, okay.
Or no, I mean, you guys can swap if you want. I just figured dogs, or Bill likes doing dogs.
Okay, sure. Okay, cool. A dog that's learning how to speak for the first time. Is that what
great?
it was? Okay.
And then we'll also have, let's see, the agent. You're going to be Rip Torn. And there will be a Sergeant Belinsky later. And Sergeant Belinsky is going to be Jesse the Body Ventura.
Thank you for putting both those voices that are very similar next to each other.
Oh, is the agent, is that one too, is Rip Torn too similar to that?
No, don't you worry. It's part of the magic here, and I like to drink the urine out of my body. It's sterile, and I like the taste. Look, kid, there's just 1,000 good-looking guys that, just like you, some not so good-looking, like that Cary Grant fellow. Give yourself a break. Go back to Ohio.
Ritchie crosses the agent's name off his list and has one more look at himself in the mirror.
What's he talking about?
Ritchie starts walking up the block, passing a line of Air Force armed recruiting, passing an Air Force Armed Forces recruiting station. He looks at a poster for a minute, and then the door opens, and Sergeant Belinsky, a burly guy, comes out and puts an arm around Ritchie's shoulder. He is whistling, "Off we go into the wild blue yonder." Ritchie tenses up a bit.
I love that song. It's one of the songs they play when the UFOs arrive to abduct the willing virgins from our planet to be probed. So how about it? Would you want to be a fighter jockey?
No thanks, Sarge.
Now come on, buddy. You know, that could be you up there with the reptilians.
What's the matter? You hard of hearing? I said no thanks. I got better things to do.
Okay. It's just as well, kid. You know, this reminds me of the time the Iron Sheik and I were behind a wrestling arena eating from a food truck. And Foley, he actually was working there. I digress. The Air Force itself is pretty particular about who we take.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of WWF wrestling. I hear you gotta be either a fruit or an ass wipe.
This is also set in the 1940s, so some terms might not be great.
That's right, I said an ass wipe.
I would like to mention this script was written in 1989.
89. Yeah. That's a long time ago.
Oh, you mean like those fellows there?
We see large uniformed Air Force cadets standing at the doorway glaring at him. Ritchie offers a weak smile. Exterior, Rabbit Punch Lounge. Roger bursts out of the door and races up the block, followed by 3 large uniformed Navy sailors. In hot pursuit, he's holding his photograph.
I said my mother had a nice tail, not yours.
Oh, that dog is terrified to be speaking. It's amazing. He's like, he doesn't know what's going on to his body.
No,
it's like David Cronenberg body
it's a
horror.
Chihuahua, he's scared.
I love it. Exterior, nearby street. Ritchie sprints up another block with the 3 Air Force thugs right on his tail. Roger continues his flight from the Navy sailors. We continue on, and they race up the block, and he turns into an alleyway, and then Ritchie runs around the corner, looking over his shoulder, and ducks into the same alleyway. So Roger and Ritchie are in the same alleyway, being chased by Navy and Air Force soldiers. Ritchie runs even faster now. He takes a left and realizes he's headed straight for a dead end. He looks around. It's hopeless. Then he hears, and let's get some new voices for Roger and Ritchie for this little scene.
Okay, let's do... Sorry, I was copying and pasting. Okay. Gollum on helium.
Okay.
And Casey Kasem.
Okay.
All right, Casey Kasem, Bill, and then Gollum on helium. We'll go over to Eric.
Okay, go ahead. Hopefully Zoom can pick this up, because sometimes
we will see.
What are you doing?
Ritchie, hey Ritchie.
Casey Kasem? Roger Rabbit. What are you doing here?
Come on up, hurry.
We see Ritchie. We see that Roger is on the ledge of a fire escape, a story above Ritchie, and Ritchie is tensing up, looking at the fire escape.
Forget it. That's just the coward's way.
The interbranch contingent runs around the corner and stops. They see their respective quarries trapped at the end, smile, and they casually start walking towards them.
Ritchie, come on.
I can't, Roger.
But you'll get myrtleized. They'll destroy, disrupt, and degender you.
Whoa. I could listen to you talk all day. But I can't, says Roger. I told you.
But it's only...
I'm scared of heights, okay? I get 3 feet off the ground and I faint. I didn't quit the flight school. I washed out.
Roger reacts to this, and a hand comes into frame and spins Ritchie around. The 3 Air Force guys are right there, and the Air Force guys are all voiced by C-3PO.
I can't wait for this one.
My cup. So, which one of us is the asswipe and which one's the fruit?
Amazing. The last thing Ritchie sees is the biggest guy's fist. Interior apartment day. We are close on Ritchie lying on the sofa with a cut on the bridge of his nose. His shirt is rumpled and torn. He slowly opens his eyes and reacts to Wendy Rowan, 22. She leans over him, gently dabbing his wound with a damp cloth. And so for this, Wendy, you can pick whatever voice you'd like to be your default Wendy voice. And then we've got Ritchie and Roger in here as well. So let's just keep with the audience is challenging these men immensely, and I'm very excited.
Thanks for playing a lot with this.
Yeah.
We have one that they want a Captain Crunch and Tony the Tiger. They are noticeably getting madder at each other.
I can do a Captain Crunch. I can do that. So.
Okay, they're great.
Awesome. Cool. So she's leaning over him, dabbing the wound on his nose.
Hi. How you feeling?
Okay, I guess. Who are you?
Wendy Rowan. I'm Jessica's roommate. We live down the hall. How do you like the new place?
I think it's great.
Not the line, but it works.
Your friend Roger rented it for the 2 of you.
Great. Huh?
Easy. You know, you're lucky. Not too many people take tunes.
Hey, I don't give a flying frig what they take. Ass wipes and fruits and frig. All I know is, what floor are we on?
First.
great! Well, anyway, that dumb rabbit's been nothing but bad luck since the day I hit him. And who the hell is Jessica?
Oh, I was wondering why anyone would want to beat the crap out of such a nice-looking guy. Now I know.
The door swings open and Roger enters with a couple of grocery bags. Perhaps Captain Crunch is in one of the bags.
Ahoy, roomie! Oh, still feeling a little bruised and bewildered? Well, I've got the perfect thing. You just mix a little ammonia with some thumbtacks. It really hits the spot.
Oh, great. I'm supposed to live with that?
And I've got everything else we need. Soap, Q-tips, his towels. Oh, and I want to show you some swatches for the new curtains.
Oh, why couldn't I have been blown up with the car?
I were you, I'd be thanking him. It's a real nice apartment. It just needs a little light.
She opens the blinds on the right to reveal a half-open window looking out to an ordinary street.
See? You get a lot of sun in the morning, and you'll have a hard time finding another place, especially one this cheap.
She's at the other side now. She casually pulls open the blinds. Suddenly a giant toon fly about the size of a basketball buzzes through the open window.
Look out!
Damn flies.
She shoos the fly out the window. Ritchie and Raji cross over. Their POV of Toontown. And there it is. It's colorful and animated as ever. Roger is dazzled.
What is that?
Town. We're right next to it. Why do you think the rent's so low?
This is it. She's out there somewhere. Now I know I'll find her. I'll be back with my mother. Or my name isn't Roger Rabbit.
Hey, came up with his name. Roger hops out the window and runs up the Toon Street. Wendy watches him smiling.
He's a sweet little guy.
Yeah, now look at it. Or now look at.
Now lock it. I didn't mistype that. That's actually it. He wants to lock the window. My favorite part is the hand motion for Tony the Tiger with every line.
Great! Part of this nutritious breakfast.
Sugar.
All right. Exterior apartment street. Later that day, Ritchie exits the building, still wearing the same torn, rumpled clothes. Wendy comes out the door with a grocery list. And so now we've got Wendy and Ritchie. The new voices are Betty Boop for Wendy and Woody Woodpecker for Ritchie.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hi.
Well, I guess you found a look that works. Keep it.
Right. Now, it's the only one I've got.
Oh, there's a men's shop next to the market. I'm picking up a few things.
She starts walking down the block. Ritchie considers a beat, then catches up with her.
Look, I'm sorry about before. It's just been a rough couple of days.
Bart has been telling me that you're breaking into the movies. I've been trying since March.
Yeah? You're an actress?
What do you mean? Can't you tell? That's okay. No one else can.
Actually, you look a lot like Carol Lombard. And you're just as snotty, too.
Oh, do you think so?
Woodpecker's honor.
Anyway, Jessica promised she'd get me a job on one of her radio shows. You know, screaming or something.
You pretty good at that.
Wendy lets out a blood-curdling scream as best she can at this late hour on the East Coast. There you go. Ritchie quickly covers her mouth with his hand.
She doesn't get out much.
Interior food market day. Wendy is at the checkout stand. The cashier, Doris, a pleasant middle-aged woman, is ringing up her purchases. There are a number of Toons in here doing their weekly shopping. So, Wendy, you are now your mom, which was one of the voices you provided me. I'm excited to hear that. And then Doris is going to be Harley Quinn. And the Roadrunner, which will be Megan Gorman for one line, is going to be a French Roadrunner. And the hippo that appears will be Harvey Firestein. So, you may begin, Wendy.
Oh, 40 cents a pound for hamburger? You're killing me, Doris.
We're lucky we can get it at all, Puddin'. That war in Europe, I read everything's rationed over there.
The Roadrunner approaches carrying 2 boxes of birdseed. He looks around.
Express lane's open.
Beep, 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 beep. Translation, I lost my page. Beep, 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 beep.
Well done, Megan. The Roadrunner zips away, leaving a small cloud of smoke. An enormous matronly hippo enters, taps Doris on the shoulder.
Oh, pardon me. I'm looking for the diet section. The diet section.
End of aisle 7.
The hippo starts down an aisle. Doris shakes her head.
There's more of them every day.
Oh, come on, Doris. It gets kind of nice, everybody mixing together.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I don't mind a few coming in.
We hear a crash from the back of the store. Without missing a beat, Doris picks up the public address mic.
Clean up on aisle 7. The thing is, they start pushing all the regular people out, and pretty soon the whole place goes Toon. That's what happened next door with the men's shop.
An apprehensive look from Wendy. Interior men's shop. Close on Richie's face, staring at a mirror. We hear Foghorn Leghorn.
Son, I say, son, you look like $1 million.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that thing suits you.
Pull back to reveal Ritchie standing in front of a full-length mirror wearing a gaudy animated plaid Toon suit replete with huge lapels, a loud shirt, and a polka dot tie. The proprietor, Foghorn Leghorn, stands next to him with measuring tape around his neck. And at Ritchie's feet, we see Droopy Dog in a little tailor's coat, pinning his cuffs. So, Ritchie, you're whatever voice you want for one line. I'll just let you do whatever you want. And then Foghorn and Droopy, you are your characters. Normal voices.
Get it? Suit you? That's a joke, son. I keep pitching them and you keep missing them.
Look, this isn't quite what I had in mind. Sorry, I did it again. It's Trump. He sneaks in. But, you know, I love suits. I love my ties. They're made in China from silk. Chinese silk.
Nonsense, boy. You'll tear up the town in that thing. It's a real head turner. I know it'd turn my head.
Pardon me, sir. I'm going to take your inseam, sir.
Droopy whisks his measuring tape up Ritchie's pant leg. Ritchie reacts with a flinch.
Ooh. Now. I haven't lost one yet, sir. Although your targets are very small and hard to spot.
Oh, throwing some shade there, Droopy Dog. With
Look,
that,
I got big hands.
And I will say, with that line, that concludes Brock Powell because he's got to get out of here. But I want to make sure he got Droopy in there. So thank you, Brock, for this.
That is all, folks.
So
Bye, guys. You guys are all brilliant.
And disappear, and we'll continue onward. Now the radio actor will be, in the next scene, will be Ted Evans. So here we are. We are now looking at Wendy, who enters with her groceries. She takes one look at Ritchie and bursts out laughing. Ritchie finds himself smiling at her. After a few beats, Wendy stops giggling and smiles back. We slowly pan to the radio playing in the corner, and we hear a radio actor. And let's just continue your Robert Downey Jr. We'll have Ted do it this time.
Great, sure. All right, now I'm taking over. Great.
Who's Jessica?
Oh, I'm sorry. Jessica is going to be. Let's try Raven from Teen Titans.
Okay. Now, you see what happened when you tried to get those two McGuffey boys next door to stop fighting?
Yes, Grandpa. Yes, Grandpa. They dipped my pigtails in mud.
Interior radio studio. Jessica, radio actor, reads scripts in front of a mic. Jessica imitates the voice of a small child. This is your small child.
Just remember, miss, it's always best to stay right in your own backyard and not get tangled up in other people's problems.
You're right, Grandpa. From now on, I'll mind my own business. It doesn't matter if the trouble's next door, or down the street, or even on some other continent.
That's my girl.
We hear organ music, and another announcer steps to the mic, and that announcer is not on my list. So who is that? Is that Ted? Are you the announcer? Yeah. Ted, you are Obi-Wan Kenobi for that one line.
This concludes another chapter of Life with Gramps.
It's got the high ground. The actors start dispersing as Jessica, a bit confused, has a look at the script. Interior, Otto's office. A nameplate on the desk reads, Otto Green, station manager. Otto is sitting there tinkering with a metal box. On the desk, we see a small model biplane with an antenna on its tail. Jessica knocks and enters. And for this, Otto is now Ted. Well, for Jessica, we're going to switch up the Titan, and you're going to be Starfire now. Keep the Titan theme. And Ted, you will be... someone good. Oh, let's see how you're... Adam West. I promised Adam West. Let's do Adam West for this one.
I am sorry to be a bother to you, Mr.
Grab a look at this doll cakes. It's a little hobby of mine. You see, you control that little plane with radio waves, just like the kind that carry that gorgeous voice of yours. Watch this.
All right. He picks up the box, pushes a couple of buttons. The plane's tiny electric motor starts, emitting a high-pitched whirring sound.
Clear for takeoff.
All right. He works a few levers. The plane spins around on the desk a few times, then careens into the phone and tumbles to the floor.
Oh, well, took Edison 2 years for the light bulb. What can I do you for, Toots?
Oh, it is about Life with the Gramps.
Yeah, real homespun stuff. Gives me a lump right here.
Yes, but the scripts seem kind of strange, don't you think?
Honey, when you read them, they're nothing but great.
It's just, with that war in Europe, all these lines about how we should mind our own business and stay on our own continent. And yesterday, when the Gramps was teaching Billy to drive, how neutral was always the best gear.
Sweetheart, you're thinking too much. It's just a radio show. Now, you go on home and rest that pretty little voice of yours. You're the best doll. I got big plans for you.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
We're going all the way, you and me. Right to the top.
Jessica smiles, exits. Otto smiles after her, starts tinkering at the box again.
What a gal. Top notch.
Exterior, apartment building night. Establishing. And then we get into the interior of Jessica and Wendy's apartment. Jessica and Wendy are in their bedroom. Jessica is zipping up her roommate's dress. Jessica has changed too, but her outfit is still quite conservative. So for this, let's get suggestions for Jessica and Wendy.
Okay, so Wendy is going to be a valley girl with an increasingly frustrating sneeze/hiccuping fit.
Okay.
And then Jessica, we're going to have Eliza Doolittle trying to learn how to speak like a lady.
That's awesome.
All right, we good with... All right, she's got the mouth. She's ready. And then we are going to move... then we'll do that scene, and then we'll continue. Here we go. You may begin.
Well.
We lost our Wendy.
Well. Oh my god, well, he's kind of cute.
Well, he's okay. He's kinda
It can't be any worse than that moose you were dating.
Oh, he wasn't that bad. At least I had a place to hang my coat.
Amazing. They crack up at this, giggling together. Let's hear those giggles together. And Fran Drescher walked in. Or Janice.
So
Interior, Ritchie and Roger's apartment night. Ritchie stands in front of the bedroom mirror, buttoning up his shirt. He calls to Roger through the bathroom door. And so for this, Roger, you are going to be Sam from Sam and Max.
All right.
Yep. My favorite point-and-click video game growing up. And Ritchie, we'll give you another rabbit to pair with rather than Max. You're going to be Bugs Bunny for this scene.
All right, Doc.
Oh.
Yep.
Shake a leg, Roger. The movie starts at 8:30.
I'm not going.
Look. Wendy set this whole thing up with her roommate. And if you don't go, nobody's gonna go.
Fine. I have a very full schedule anyway. I have to get up early to look for my mother. And besides, I'm waxing my ears and brushing my tooth. Also, I'm naked.
Oh, come on, Roger. Put on some pants.
I'm sorry, but on this point, I'm immovable and probable. I don't have time for some stupid date with some stupid girl.
Oh, yeah? Wendy says she likes you.
Bathroom door slowly opens to reveal Roger, who's fully dressed and all spruced up. The tuft of hair between his ears is parted in the middle and slicked down with Vitalis.
You think so?
Exterior, movie theater. We are close on the theater's marquee. The main attraction is Wuthering Heights. Under the title, in small letters, is Flyboys of the Pacific. Reveal another sign reading Tunes in Balcony Only. Interior, movie theater. We see a scene from a Disney cartoon featuring Mickey Mouse. We hear laughter, lots of it, from the first row all the way back to the balcony. Where seated in the first row, we see Roger, laughing his head off. Pan right to Jessica and Wendy, also laughing. Then finally to a terrified Ritchie staring down at the main floor below, clutching the armrests. Wendy turns to him, nudges his arm, indicates the screen as if to say, "Funny, huh?" Ritchie forces a weak laugh. Wuthering Heights is now in progress. Then we see Ritchie is growing increasingly uncomfortable. Roger has been watching the romance unfold on screen. Across the aisle, we see a teenager faking a yawn, putting his extended arm around his date, who cuddles up to him. Roger considers this, then yawns, extends his right arm, and slowly slides it behind Jessica's seat, widened to include the four of them, as well as a rather prissy-looking woman, who sits on the other side of Ritchie. Roger's arm appears from behind his seat, and unfortunately he's overshot his mark and puts his arm around the woman, the prissy woman's shoulder. She quickly turns to Ritchie, who's already on the verge of panic, and slaps his face.
Ouch!
People react as Ritchie leaps up, barges towards the aisle.
Excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, my fault, excuse me, I gotta go.
And now Ritchie is sitting on the curb, his hands at his sides, taking a few deep breaths. We'll continue, Bugs, but now Wendy is Kim Kardashian-like.
Oh my god, are you okay?
Yeah, but what's wrong with your voice? I mean, you sound like a tune. I just wanted to grab some popcorn.
Oh, you know, the snack bar is inside, but I don't think they deliver. They don't do that for you, not unless you're in Calabasshole.
Right. Look, the thing is, I kind of have a problem with the heights.
Oh, well, then we sure picked a great movie then, didn't we? problem? Our little problem? What is it? What's the problem?
Oh, hey, there's nothing to it. Nothing at all. It only gets, it only screwed up my entire whole life.
Interior red car night moving. Ritchie sits in the back row now, and we'll switch it up to be now Daffy and
A bird that's afraid of heights. How ironic.
There you go. And a human turkey lady.
Oh.
The other pilot said he could do a thing with a plane that nobody else could. It was like he got into the cockpit. That's right, I said cockpit. And just became a part of it. In one summer, he shot down 19 German fighters.
I love that voice so much.
It's basically Richard Dreyfuss with a lift.
I was in Jaws.
Yeah. What we're dealing with here is a perfect eating machine. It's a miracle, really.
Amazing. All right, let's hear the turkey lady.
Wow. I guess that's good.
The turkey lady had a child with Jimmy Carter.
He married an Earth stationed in England, and I was born at the base. It's perfect, right? I even came into the world at a goddamn airport. He went down over France a few weeks later.
I'm sorry. Richie, there's no law that says you have to follow in the footsteps of his footsteps. You can do whatever you want. It sounds like a really weird Jimmy
Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart, yeah.
I'm happy with it. We're almost there.
You can do whatever you want. You just can't be just as good.
Oh, brother, you just don't get it. It is what I want. I want to fly before I could walk. I wanted to fly before I could walk. I can't even sit in a balcony. I guess that's why I came to Hollywood. If I can't be a hero for real, maybe I could do it in the pictures. That's the trick out here, isn't it? Making a sissy look good?
Oh, I don't think you're a sissy. I think you're a real nice guy.
Well, that's what you get for thinking. I'm gonna walk.
Ritchie hops off the red car, leaving Wendy alone. Exterior street. As Ritchie starts walking up the block, the red car keeps moving to reveal Roger and Jessica sitting on the back bumper. There's an awkward beat as neither of them is quite sure what to say to each other. And so, Roger and Jessica, you are now Wendy and Captain Hook from Peter Pan.
Oh, fun.
So, did you like the movie?
Oh, yes. I especially enjoyed the part where Heathcliff ran up the hill and got his head stuck in that beehive.
Roger, I think you're mixing it up a little with the Mickey Mouse cartoon.
You know, I don't see why you're not in the movies.
He quickly turns away, a bit embarrassed by his boldness.
Oh, I could never do anything like that. I mean, look at me.
Okay.
He gazes at her.
Feeding into somewhere.
She becomes a little self-conscious, but after a while, she finds herself gazing at him as well. Another angle, they continue gazing at each other as the red car disappears into the night. Oh, the love is blossoming. Here we go. The gate. We are now at the Paramount Studio gate. It is bustling. A nicely dressed Ritchie approaches, holding some script pages in one hand. He practices as he passes a guard who stands next to a small kiosk. And for this, we've got the guard will be Jeff Bridges, and Ritchie will be Pepe Le Pew.
Ah, yes, mais oui. I am scared, Father Feeney. I am so scared. I'm scared. Father Feeney, I am so scared.
Hey, man, Clark Gable, you going someplace, man?
I am reading for a part.
All right. Name?
Richard Doon, but my friends call me Dick. You like it? Hmm?
Yeah, man, it's great. Say hello to Irene. Casting, Building 17.
All right. Exterior studio lot. Ritchie, finally stopping at a large stucco building. He looks over at a wall and sees a sign which reads Building 17 Casting. An arrow points ominously upward. Ritchie reacts, then slowly looks up at rickety wooden stairs snaking up 4 flights. At the top, we see a door with the casting shingle hung over it. Ritchie just stares at it in disbelief. A moment. Then, a 10-year-old girl carrying a script comes up behind him, followed by her mother. And the little girl is Peppa Pig, and the mother is some kind of demon. And the first man is something. I didn't even prepare for that one, so let's just take something from the audience for that one. First man.
A super depressed Buzz Lightyear.
A super depressed Buzz Lightyear. So there you go. That's a short little scene. Begin.
Excuse me, mister.
The girl bounds effortlessly up the stairs. Her mother follows.
One step at a time, young lady.
Ritchie reacts to this, taking a deep breath, as we all should, then begins his climb. Step by step, he's almost there. Suddenly, 2 men hurry down the stairs.
Use us, buddy.
Oh, to infinity and the booze bottle. The men go to Ritchie's right, forcing him to the outward side of the stairway. He can't help but look down, and we see Ritchie's POV. The ground begins to blur, then seems to rise up towards him. Ritchie throws himself back against the wall, his arms stretched out, frozen in panic. Angle on the casting door as an exasperated casting director leads a young actor out the door. And so, Ritchie, you're going to be Fozzie Bear for this scene. And yeah. And the casting director will be Kermit.
Okay, look, I'm sorry, but you're just not it. I'm looking for somebody who can play scared, show some goddamn fear. Guy's got to be out there somewhere. Kid, you here for the prison part?
Yes, I am.
You think you can show me some real terror?
Oh, I believe so, sir.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and give me the line?
I'm scared, Father Feeney. I'm so scared.
Bigger.
Oh, bigger than that? Fine. Oh, I'm scared, Father Feeney. I'm so scared.
Bigger.
I'm scared, Father Feeney. I'm shitting my pants. I'm so freaking scared.
Okay, all right then.
Casting director reacts, seemingly impressed. That's a good reaction. Interior apartment. The door swings open. Ritchie enters with excitement. And now we've got Ritchie and Roger are Marvin the Martian, Ritchie, and Sylvester for Roger.
Very nice.
All right.
And Fozzie is not that far off the dial.
No.
He goes from here to here, Earth creature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how lovely, how peachy. I got it. That's it. Woo-wee.
Roger's standing by the small dinette table, wearing a little apron, his arms crossed. The table is set. A meal sits upon it.
I got it, Roger. I got the part. It's the only one line, but once they see my stuff, I'm in like Flynn.
Hey, you're late. Dinner with the thick.
Oh, yeah. Stop spitting on me, please. I got hung up at the studio. Wardrobe, stuff like that. I got fitted for a new tutu.
I see. Well, it's cold now anyway. I might as well throw it in the garbage. I don't even know why I bother skimping and saving, trying to prepare a decent meal for my loved ones.
Does that mean I get to go, Putty Tat? I don't have to be your meal tonight? Oh, no! The Putty Tat ate me!
Roger?
Even made your favorite dish, spaghetti and mothballs.
That's meatballs.
Oh, sure, criticize. It's all you can do. It's all you can do.
No luck today, huh?
I'm never gonna find her, Ritchie.
Hey, you've only been looking for a few days.
No, my search is over. Fini. Kaput. Sayonara. That's all.
That's all, folks.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, come on, Porky, Roger. You know your mom's out there somewhere. You can't just give up. You have to keep trying. Stick with it. Keep your ears to the grindstone.
Richie realizes.
Thanks, Richie.
Never mind. Continue. You're great.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, keep going. I don't need to say words. You're doing great.
Nah.
Sure, look, I've got to go to bed. I have a 6 o'clock call.
Not to worry. I'll make sure you get a perfect night of slumber. I'll plump your pillow, warm your milk, count your sheep, fluff your...
Oh, jeez. Get your hands out of there.
Yucks.
Your cat claws are real sharp. Oh, jeez. I sleep like a stiff. I'll never wake up without an alarm clock.
Say no more, Rumi. I'll be back with one in the tick of a talk.
Close on Roger in the bedroom later that night. He's asleep and snoring. Ritchie is also asleep. On the bedside table, we see a Toon alarm clock. After a moment, the minute hand hits the hour. It's 5 a.m. The doors swing open, and Tweety Bird emerges with a small hammer. He strikes the bells. This has no effect on Ritchie, who continues sleeping. Tweety gives him a look, goes back into the clock, and emerges as a one-man band. He plays a John Philip Sousa march. Still nothing.
Ooh, I'm still alive. So, he wants to play hardball.
Tweety exits inside the clock again, then this time returning with a giant stick of Toon dynamite. He strikes a match on the bedpost and lights the fuse. Exterior, Toontown Street. In the background, we see Ritchie and Roger's real building. The sun is rising, a rooster crows, followed shortly by a huge explosion. There's a burst of light inside their window. Then...
rise and shine!
Exterior apartment building. The front door opens and Ritchie emerges, still in a state of shock. He starts down the sidewalk as Wendy appears in her living room window. So, Wendy and Ritchie, let's get suggestions from the audience, because they're doing great. I like them.
Wendy, how's your Daria?
Daria, is she like, I forget, is Daria like, she's totally like unaffected?
Okay, yeah.
Perfect.
And then we need Jeff Goldblum as an auctioneer.
Yes. Going once, going twice. Okay, I guess we can make that happen, I guess.
Oh, I'm excited for all of this. All right. You may begin.
Yeah, stranger. Don't tell me you're going to church.
Studio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know which one, but I got the part. They're shooting on the weekends.
Hey, congratulations. Jessica got me on one too. I'm screaming on a light with Grimps today.
Yes. That's great. Good job.
Listen, about the other night. That was weird.
Hey, look, forget it. It's no big deal. A big deal. Going once, going twice. Sold to Wendy.
Yeah, so, if you want, I can make us some dinner tonight later. You gotta be getting tired of, like, spaghetti and meatballs, right?
Yes, the mothballs. Very tired of those. I don't know. It's getting kind of late. And $50 to the lady in the big hat. Going once, going twice, sold to the lady in the big hat.
Yeah. I can wait.
Maybe some other time.
He starts walking down the sidewalk.
Hey, what's the deal here? You liked me fine before. Look, I'm sorry I found out about your big, dark secret, okay?
Okay, well, let's just drop it, okay?
Look, I'll tell you one of mine and we'll be even. Spider. I'm afraid of Spider.
Just one?
Yeah.
Not two? Not three? Going once? Going twice? 2 spiders?
One spider. But, I can't spell. I shoplifted once. Fine, I wore falsies to the prom.
A passerby stops and they exchange looks.
Well, yeah, I did.
Exterior Paramount Studio gate day. The guard sits in the kiosk as Ritchie passes him on his way in. And for this little bit here, you're both Bernie Sanders.
Oh, hey, you're back.
Yeah, I got the part.
Congratulations. Stage 13. Remember this day, kid. Your first day in showbiz. It's gonna be huge.
What is it, November the 18th? I can't tell. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Ritchie shakes his head and walks away. The guard reacts, turns to the calendar.
What a smart ass.
The guard tears away a few pages on the calendar to reveal the true date, December 7th, 1941. Exterior, Hollywood Street, day. A crowded sidewalk in front of the Greasy Spoon. Mom's Coffee's Shop is the name of the place. After a beat, the door opens and Roger is thrown out by a huge tattooed cook. And you are both Brooklyn plumbers.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know who Mom was.
I'm Mom!
He slams the door. Roger sighs, then sits on the curb depressed. Roger's POV, a truck parked across the street. Its trailer is high enough so that we can see the bottom halves of the people walking behind it. We see a large pair of Toon rabbit feet and a polka dot dress moving from the crowd. Roger looks at his photograph. It's the same dress. He looks back up at the feet. Oh, and a couple of delivery guys emerge from the back of an open truck and carry a large room divider down the sidewalk, continuing to conceal the top half of the pedestrian. He dashes across the street, and he looks down the block, and we see a pair of rabbit ears in the distance, making their way down the sidewalk. Roger tears around the corner just in time to see the crowd he was following getting onto a bus. Interior soundstage. Later that day, Ritchie sits on the bottom of a bunk bed in prison garb, getting a final touch-up from the makeup woman as the director hovers over them. The director is Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. The makeup lady is Sadness from Inside Out. And let's get a suggestion for Ritchie.
Well, those are kind of similar.
How's your Mr. Potato Head?
Ages 3 and up. It's on my box.
Great. If they are too similar, we can get a suggestion from the audience for you, if you'd like, for the makeup lady.
I'll make it work.
You got it. I apparently just picked similar voices for everyone to do over and over again. The hours I spent. The hours. Okay, continue.
All right, you're sitting on the bed, and Father Feeney walks by. He says, "How's it going, kid?" You say your line, and remember, it's death row. You're scared.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's do this.
The director reacts as a phalanx of smartly dressed studio executives approaches, headed by Mr. Greenblatt.
Mr. Greenblatt, what an unexpected pleasure.
Who the heck is that guy?
The head of the studio. That's what happens when you're 2 weeks behind schedule.
Good separation. I liked it. It was very good. I love the sadness. Ritchie reacts. This is his big chance, and he knows it. Exterior, Paramount Studio gate. The bus pulls up front, letting off the bulk of its passengers. Roger sees the dozens of people filing through the gate. He runs after them. Exterior, Paramount lot. Roger runs up to the commissary entrance, looking everywhere for the ears. He turns around and spots a wardrobe cart. Whoever's pushing the cart is hidden on the other side. But suddenly he sees a glimpse of a blue and yellow polka dot dress fluttering in the breeze. The cart moves through the large side door of a stage, and Roger bolts in after it. Interior, soundstage. Ritchie closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, excited and expectant. The assistant director starts barking orders, and he is BoJack Horseman.
Okay. Hey, quiet on the set. We are rolling. No walking, no talking. Thank you.
And then actually, I'm going to just swap it up. For these 3 lines, I'm going to change it right now. For these 3 lines, I would like Eric to actually do all 3 of these as a different Beagle Boy for each line.
Oh, good. Which lines?
It's on page 54, top of that. It's literally 1 word each.
Okay.
Right, Mark, speed, action.
Right now, this is it?
This is it.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, I sprung this on you and scared you. I'm a jerk.
Oh, no. Big time Beagle. Mark!
Speed.
Amazing. And the scene begins.
Big time bouncer and burger.
Father Feeney stops at different cells, greets other characters. Father Feeney is, I believe this is a description of your husband. He has a milk allergy and a deviated septum.
Hey, Spike. Hey, I'm Nick.
He passes Ritchie's cell and turns to him.
Hey, how's it going, kid?
Ritchie looks up, takes in a breath, ready to speak. Just as Roger races up to the cart and, filled with jubilation, pulls the costumes that hang on it apart. And Roger, you're normal. The costumes separate to reveal who's wearing the dress. It's an older wardrobe woman, quite human and scared out of her wits. And for this one line, she's an orgasming chicken.
I'll never eat a chicken sandwich.
Oh. You'll eat them in bed now. And Roger, you've got a little yelp as well. Nice. Ritchie is frozen with the line right on the edge of his tongue. Roger panics, turns, tripping on a cable and landing on a camera dolly, which zips him right into the middle of the set. He grabs the boom mic, and it sails around in a full circle. People duck out of the way as Roger lets go and crashes head first into a set of prison bars. In trying to free himself, he rips a whole set of the metal bars out of the wall and starts backpedaling out of control. He drops onto the electric chair. One spotlight nearby falls on his head. The other one falls onto the bars, sending sparks flying and shocking Roger, who quivers and smokes from the jolt. The shock catches the rear of his pants on fire, and he flies around about 20 feet off the ground, then hits the ground running again, the light still on his head and the tail of his overalls in flames. The studio executives and the director follow all of this, as well as the cameraman who shoots all of this. They crane their heads as Roger runs up one wall of the huge soundstage, runs halfway across the ceiling on the catwalk, collides with a technician, bounces off of him, gets tangled in some cable, falls, and proceeds to swing the length of the stage, letting out a panicked Tarzan-like yelp. What's a Roger Tarzan sound? Bill?
Oh, okay.
Let's just hear that yell. I love it. He smashes into the ceiling again and now falls straight down, landing with an off-screen crash directly onto the jail set. Where? On the cut. We find his feet sticking up and out of the twisted cot and mattress that he landed on, directly across from Ritchie. Ritchie sits, still frozen, as if he was still about to deliver his line. Everyone else just stands there dumbstruck. Finally, Greenblatt turns to one of the minions, and Greenblatt is George Bush.
Which one?
Whichever one you want to
Well.
do, man. I think senior, if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, does Disney know about this guy? Well, if not, we just found ourselves a star. Sign him up.
Amazing. The director crosses to the jail cell, leans over Roger's feet. The director, let's get a suggestion from the audience for the director, Ritchie and Roger, actually.
So we had a request for every good version of Joker in one scene. So you've got Hamill, Nicholson, Ledger, Cesar Romero. Take your pick.
Wow.
Okay, so who wants to claim a Joker? We've got Ritchie, the director, and Roger.
Don't forget about the Zorn button. What?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, we haven't done that much. I have no idea any of those guys. Zorn, would you?
Okay.
Help me out?
Well, does anyone want to claim any Jokers?
I'll go in for Jack Nicholson.
All right, Jack Nicholson Joker. Anna, do you want to do any Jokers here?
Heath Ledger.
Okay, I like it, and I guess I will try and do a Mark Hamill Joker.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes for you to do.
And I will copy.
Batman. Ooh, Harley, I've been drinking in the alley all morning. Joker's had a hard time.
This is gonna be so bad. Oh Lord. Okay.
So it's a short little scene here with a bunch of Jokers. Enjoy.
Congratulations. Go over to Building 1 for your contract. Okay, that's a wrap here. Let's move to the cell riot scene in the back lot.
A rap? A rap? What do you mean, a rap? I didn't even get to say my...
Sorry, kid. The set's a wreck. We'll probably cut the scene anyway, maybe next time. Funny guy. Should be a big star.
The director walks away. Ritchie turns to Roger.
Ritchie, so how did it go?
Exterior soundstage day. Roger bursts out with a crazed Ritchie right on his tail.
But I thought I saw my mother. Dead? I want you dead. Can't we discuss this like two human beings? You used to be my number one guy. But now I want to kill you.
Oh man, we go to the interior of the studio commissary. That also concludes our Joker scene. So amazing work, everybody.
Thank God.
Where does he get these wonderful tunes?
Oh, well done, Eric. Well done. Yeah, Jack Palance is great too. All right, anyway, interior studio commissary. Roger runs in. Ritchie follows him. Where Roger arrives at a large round table, Ritchie stops at the other end of it. Let's get new voices for Ritchie and Roger. Let's go to the audience for this.
Can we get a Stitch and a Snagglepuss?
Ooh, okay. Who wants what?
I'll do a Snagglepuss.
Great.
Okay. I'll do Stitch, I guess.
Or Hannah.
Aha.
All right, cool. You may begin.
You tune song of a bitch.
I like how you got song wrong, but bitch was right.
You tune song of a bitch. I'm gonna turn you inside out.
I can do that for you.
They continue maneuvering around the table for a few beats.
Would you stand still for Christ's sakes?
But Ritchie, I didn't mean to wreck your career. I swear it.
Oh, I don't care. I want you.
Exactly how do you mean that? Ritchie, listen to me. I just want to say one thing, and then you can do whatever you want.
Okay, what?
When I'm a big star, I'll get you your lines back.
Ooh, Ritchie leaps across the table, grabbing Roger by the throat. Ritchie pins Roger beneath him and begins to strangle him.
No, stop it! Ritchie, you're killing me!
Really?
No, but you seem to be enjoying yourself.
Ritchie stops, exasperated.
Great. I'm trying to kick the crap out of a tune.
And for this one line, the waiter is, I can't pronounce that name, from My Hero Academia. What is that name? Tisui?
Tsuyu.
Okay, there you go.
Tsuyu Asui.
And you may change this line because there's an offensive term in it.
Yeah, why don't you save it for those of Japanese descent?
There you go. Again, script set in the 40s, so they're using vernacular we don't use no more. Ritchie, Ritchie looks around and realizes that the tables are deserted. Over in the corner, we see a large group of people crowded around a radio speaker. We get the radio announcer, who is Mr. Ted Evans. And for this one, let us do... I'm curious as to what your Patrick Stewart is.
Special report. Police decide that the first wave of Japanese bombers is 300 planes. The second wave, 150. Casualty reports from Pearl Harbor are sporadic. However, from the reports of widespread destruction, no one here appears optimistic.
Oh, a young guy about Richie's age turns to him as the report continues. And that young guy is voiced by Eric. And let's see, we've got one line here. What does the audience want for one line? Have Eric do.
Any Rocky Horror Picture Show character.
Well, I mean, I guess we're in for it now, aren't we?
Ooh. Exterior studio commissary. Ritchie walks towards the front gate with a few guys who are about his age, and Roger, who tags along with him. And let's just have Roger's normal voice and Ritchie's normal voice, because we haven't heard that in a while.
So, how about it? We're gonna sign up, ship out. If we go to boot camp, I take a 17 triple E.
Ritchie stops, turns to him, and speaks quietly.
I'm going back to the apartment to pack my things. After that, I don't ever want to see you again.
Ritchie continues walking, leaving Roger standing alone. Interior, Mutual Radio Studios. A news announcer sits in a booth reading wire copy, and that news announcer is... where was it? I had it from last time. Doc Brown. From Back to the Future is the news announcer.
Awesome.
Morning! Tomorrow at 9 a.m., the President will address a joint session of Congress. Meanwhile, draft boards from coast to coast report a deluge of enlistees.
Interior, Otto's office. Otto is sitting at his desk, talking on the phone as Jessica knocks and enters. Wendy follows her in. So for this scene, we've got Otto and Jessica and Wendy. Let's have Lois Griffin for Jessica and Peter Griffin for Otto, and Roger will be regular when he comes up, and I think Wendy has a line as well, so let's just get something from the audience for Wendy.
Wendy is a High School Musical extra who is a little too into the role.
Great. All right, you may begin.
Okay, Lois. The station's gonna help organize a blood drive, a scrap of metal drive, and any other kind of drive to drive these two big gangsters back under Mount Fuji. Oh, glad you're here, girls. Let me get back to you. You know, this stinking war changes everything. It's not just the Japs. We're gonna lock horns with the Krauts, too.
Oh, geez, I'm saying. I was reading.
I told you.
But you know what?
You can
Peter
change
Griffin
that.
would read it.
Yeah.
Again,
Peter
1940s.
Peter would read it right.
Peter would read it that way, so that's
There was
within
no
character.
warning on the script. It is.
I warned the other one. I apologize. I forgot that it was there. I mistyped those entirely, so that's
I
on
was
me.
just so in character.
You did a great job.
Okay.
Jets is okay. It's the crouch that I'm worried
Oh
about.
God. Oh no.
Krauts.
All right. We do not condone these terms. They were just reading a script.
It's so funny.
There we go.
Sorry, I think it's hysterical.
All right. Jessica, you may continue.
Oh, I know. We've been listening all morning. Mr. Green, I just want you to know we'll do anything we can for the war effort.
I can scream some more. I can do it.
They both give Wendy a look. She shakes her head, wishes she could jump out a window.
Glad to hear it, Toots. By the way, don't bother packing. We're taking care of it.
Jessica and Wendy exchange looks.
Excuse me?
You see, the way I look at it, girls, we're in for one hell of a tussle. It's going to be rough going at first, but I know if everyone just pulls together, and with a little help from the guy upstairs, we'll win with this thing.
During this, Otto proceeds to reach and slide what we now realize is a hairpiece off his head. As he does, he slips into a German accent and takes a Luger from his desk drawer. So Peter Griffin with a German accent. Good luck.
And grind our enemies into the face of the earth.
Very nice.
Yes, well done. Well done. So apparently Otto is German. Oh no. Exterior
He's a name like Otto.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Exterior broadcast center. Jessica and Otto emerge from the building. Roger Rabbit appears from around the corner, calls out to her in his normal Roger voice because we love it.
Jessica!
He starts running towards her. She turns to him, pauses a beat, then continues for the car as Roger gets closer.
Cassie, it's me!
And German Peter Griffin one more time.
Get in the car, doll.
Roger gets there as Otto slams the door and the sedan pulls out, running over Roger's feet. We see Jessica through the rear window as she slowly turns around. Jessica's POV of Roger running after the car in the middle of the street, calling out her name, then fading into the distance. Newsreel, black and white footage. We hear the classic, energetic voice of a newsreel announcer, which I'm taking over because I haven't done a 50s trailer in a few years, and I get to do it. So here we go. Mm-hmm. We're on the move in Europe. We see a montage. Yeah. Oh, you continue. You're right. You read it. So Ted's gonna be taking over the directions, so I can actually read this.
Do I read the direction?
You read
newsreel announcer?
No. You read the stage directions, and I'm the newsreel announcer. I'm confused.
Oh, okay, but I'm normal. Okay.
You're right. You're normal. You're a normal person. Mm-hmm.
We see a montage of battle footage from World War II.
18 months after declaring war on the Axis machine, the Allies have a firm foothold on the occupied continent. The fighting rages for weeks in the Italian seaport of Naples, where U.S. and British troops weather some of the fiercest battles of the war. Now the drive northward begins. Here, a couple of boys showing the Germans what for. Howitzer style. Oh, God. Let them have it, guys. Murder them all.
We see a shot of President Roosevelt waiting to reporters.
While FDR prepares for his upcoming powwow with world leaders in Malta. Across the Potomac, the Army tests one of its latest weapons at the remote field in Quantico, Virginia.
And now a shot of several military officers standing next to an arsenal. Then the camera pans left to reveal Goofy wearing fatigues, standing in front of a concrete cinder block wall, waving at the soldiers.
Well, how y'all doing?
Yes, now we've got Toon Power, a GI who doesn't get tired, doesn't get hungry, and who won't ever say, die, because he can't.
The soldiers all raise their weapons and take aim at Goofy, whose eyes bulge out of his head.
Oh, no!
Goofy, oh my God.
Goofy is blasted by an onslaught of firepower after several seconds of blasting. The smoke clears to reveal Goofy, standing there intact.
Goofy, you got anything to say after you just got shot?
Gosh, they missed.
And so then I will take a suggestion from the audience for this newsreel guy.
Now you are Scooby-Doo as a classic 60s mob boss.
Oh God, a classic 60s mob boss. Can I hit like a bill button on that? No. Classic 60s mob boss. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna read this and then. Oh, see, that sends most of us to bed with a headache. But not that they're private. Welcome about, Dog face? I'm going to switch up for the next
We now
one.
see an enormous room in the basement of the Pentagon.
New suggestion for that, because you can't understand what the hell I'm saying.
Can we get Ka from the Jungle Book? Ooh.
Okay, I think he's probably going to end up sounding like Stewie Griffin, but sure, I'll see what I can do there. Oh, sire. Meanwhile, at a research facility in the just completed Pentagon, exhaustive tests are conducted to make sure that these toons really have what it takes.
Very nice.
Ted?
We see an endurance test booth where Chip and Dale are running inside a giant exercise wheel. Then an intelligence test booth where Pluto struggles to fit pegs into holes. Then an allergy test booth where Sneezy is sitting on a chair as a doctor holds up various objects, which all make him sneeze. And finally, a stress test booth where we find Donald Duck in a rage, screaming and sputtering at more doctors from inside a plastic cubicle.
Let us hear that rage, Jan. Oh, she's muted. I can't hear anything. Zoom is muting you, I think.
Cutting you off.
Couldn't hear you. Oh,
It's gonna volume gate you.
That's so sad. She tried. Well, her acting is on par, so we know that it will sound something similar to. There we go. So, new voice for newsreel announcer.
For you?
Yeah, I'm just flying through them.
Elmo rapping.
God. Okay.
Whoa, take it easy, Phil. They haven't even started yet.
We go to a line of some of our favorite tunes, still wearing their civvies, are saying goodbye to their girls. Mickey Mouse getting a kiss from Minnie, Porky Pig getting bussed by Petunia, etc.
Let's hear a little Mickey and Minnie between Ted and Anna.
Who's who?
You're Minnie. Actually, you know what? Anna, you're both of them, and you're saying goodbye.
What?
You're both of them. You're Mickey and Minnie talking to yourself.
Oh, God. Well, I'll miss you, Minnie. But, I'll be back before long, right?
Oh, Mickey, yes. I'll write you every night.
Oh, all right. I'll write you back, too. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Mickey.
Oh my God, heartbreaking! I
Great,
gotta give you applause for that one.
Yeah.
Amazing, Anna. Amazing. And Porky Pig and Petunia Pig. I know Porky. We got Bill. If you want to do a Porky saying goodbye to Petunia, and you know what, Jan, if you want to attempt what a Petunia Pig sounds like, because I don't actually even know what Petunia Pig sounds like.
I don't remember what Petunia sounds like.
Yeah.
I think they gave her a stutter too.
Okay, well try doing a Porky Pig and a Porky Pig saying goodbye to each other. Let's see how that goes.
Goodbye, Petunia.
Goodbye.
Give me a kiss.
And that was amazing. So we'll do one more Elmo rap and see how that goes. But
Trees everywhere are getting the call from Uncle Sam. That's right, son. You're in the army now. None of this works, but don't worry, girls. They'll be all right, says Elmo.
Oh my God.
and finishing up with a regular voice. But first, it's off to Europe, where our Toon Platoon gets ready to take on the Nazi juggernaut. You can bet they'll make these krauts sour. Couldn't change that one. The joke doesn't work otherwise.
Donald Duck turns and starts ranting at the camera as the group disappears into the ship.
All right, try one more time, Jan. One more time, see if Zoom censors you. And don't forget to duck, Donald. And that concludes part one of Roger Rabbit 2.
That was so much fun.
Oh, amazing. Good work, everyone. Some pairings and things that I never thought I would hear in my life. So that was incredible. So next week we will be jumping right into World War II for the second half of the script. there. And just quick thoughts from anyone on this script. What'd you think of it?
Oh,
actually?
it was great. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
it should have been made.
It should have been made.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. Now that I know it's a prequel, I'm kind of wondering if I should have not watched the movie, and I should have just gone into this, and I had experienced it all chronologically.
What was the moment where Eddie Valiant was mentioned?
So that's in the barber shop. There's the customer who gives Roger directions. He's got towels on his face, and then Roger comes up and like kisses him with the towels on his face, and he like pulls the towels off as Roger leaves, and he turns the camera and just says Toons. So we just see that technically he did run into Eddie Valiant at some point. They just never knew that. I think it was a really fun way of doing a cameo.
Another interesting take could have been like Eddie and his brother, leading up to his brother.
Yeah, because he was alive. So,
that might have been really sad, actually, to see Eddie and his brother. Roger directs him to the bank. They're going into the bank where the Toon drops his piano.
Oh my God!
Have a good time, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, so we're gonna write a really dark Roger Rabbit's prequel here. I like that a lot, but
I'll have it done by next Friday. We'll read.
Yes, we need.
I'm retyping the entire second half anyway, so I might as well. And I'll keep those typos in there because I know you all loved them so much.
Those rising suns.
We will return next week, July 17th, same time, 6 p.m. And we'll be doing a giveaway for an original sketch of Mickey Mouse from the voice of Mickey Mouse. And he's wonderful and has given us that. So stay tuned and keep giving suggestions.
And I'll be giving this away. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
But I just wanted you to see it one more time.
That's great. I love that one.
All the original cells. I own probably from the original film. I think I own about. I kind of went bananas. I bought like a bunch of original cells from Roger Rabbit. I think I have about 6 or 7.
That's a personal dream of mine. I want to.
There's one hanging in the living room of Bob, like a photograph of Bob Hoskins and Roger in Benny the Toon Cab when they're going down the alley. And I have one of those, and then something I'll have the next week. I'll have it handy.
Yeah,
I have the. You could just buy them on eBay in mint condition. The auction catalog from the very first time the Roger Rabbit cells were ever available for purchase to the public. So it's just like, of course, the holy grail that I'm still searching for is the scene of Mickey and Bugs in the same scene together.
Oh, yeah.
I'll even settle for the same scene as Donald and Daffy playing piano, but I mean, I think those are definitely the most impossible things to find. No one would ever want to give that up.
Yeah.
But I'll have that catalog next week. You have to look through it. It's kind of amazing to see.
I will digitally look through this through the magic of the pixels. But yeah, I'm just glad that we're a bunch of nerds that enjoy Roger Rabbit. One man that worked on Roger Rabbit, another one that owns all the Roger Rabbit, one who's seen Roger Rabbit for the first time ever today. I'm just glad we've all come together for Roger Rabbit 2, Toon Platoon, and I couldn't be happier with everyone's performance there. So I hope everybody had fun. I hope the chat room had fun. Your suggestions were amazing. Look forward to what we got next week as we dive into World War II. So any last thoughts from anyone?
Let's see. Oh, I had a blast myself. It was absolutely a lot of fun. And if I can do a shameless plug, I have a show that I'm hosting on Disney Plus called It's a Dog's Life with Bill Farmer. Live action. I'm an executive producer and host on this show.
Wow.
Check it out.
Congratulations. Is that available now?
Yes, it is. We just today, the 9th of 10 shows aired. So you can see all 9 up to this date.
Oh yeah, no.
Congratulations!
So cool. Watch this man in anything that he does. He's a delight. He's the one that sat me down in his living room and said, "Why do you want to do this? Why do you want to do voiceover?" To make sure I had what it takes.
What a thrill to hear Sylvester from Space Jam today.
Oh my gosh, that was a long time ago. I have to go wipe my microphone off with some. Cleaner.
Amazing. All right, so that is our show for tonight, and tune in next week, and thank you again, and follow all of these fine people. They've got social media links and also links to Eric's store to get Inspector Gadget stuff in the description. So go to the description, follow these people on the internet because they're always doing amazing things. So thank you all.
Thanks
and
so much.
See
Our
you
pleasure.
next
Oh,
week,
so
everyone.
much fun.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I would say everybody.
So fun, yeah.
Stay safe.
All right.
And
ending the stream. End it with a Porky Pig, Bill.
Yeah, but that's all, folks.
And the awkwardness of the button not working. And here we go. And we're going to be cut off. Come on.